Sports on Tap Detroit, brought to you by Tap and Barrel Grill, the Realtors of the Joe Wright Group, Jason Stiltner of Flagstar Bank, Baldman Entertainment.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
We are tonight's entertainment.
We're here to fuck shit up.
Sports the way it should be. Nothing sugar-coated, we loaded with all the information you wanted. From legends to prospects, nothing's off limits. Chris and Joe be taking on all topics with no stopping. They keep it rolling and going and ball hopping at a rate that's hard stopping. With news that's jaw dropping, they're getting it in. Sports Center competition, man, they in it to win. This ain't a fluke, from Carolina to Duke, from MSU to Michigan. You'll know if you listening, if you ain't, you missing it. All the excitement, they shock like a thundercloud and ride with lightning. Get it together, you know ain't nobody better. Bring heat than cold weather. You better put on a sweater, you better just let it go and all come and attack. Sit back, relax, let's tell them it's on tap.
We'll do it live. Fuck it.
Welcome to episode 164 of Sports on Tap Detroit, alongside Joe Waddell. I'm Chris Scott. Joe, how are you?
I've had better days, but
Yes.
you know
that it's that time of year
yeah,
with especially sinus issues going around and whatnot.
yeah.
One of the reasons why we didn't do a show Tuesday, I wasn't feeling great either, so yeah, just whatever. So we decided to do a Friday show.
we're here now, and we're gonna fire out a Friday show.
We are going to fire out a Friday show, and some of the stuff that we talk about has happened kind of last week, but since we didn't get to talk about it Tuesday, we're going to talk about it now. And if you guys want to listen to it, great. If you don't. Doesn't really matter to me.
If you don't, fast forward.
Exactly, fast forward. So, what do you want to get into first? You want to get into the Thanksgiving debacle, or do you want to get into Michigan Ohio State, or do you want to get into the game from last night?
Let's start off with the Thanksgiving Day game.
Okay, I'm glad you started there because that was one of the most egregiously bad coaching / player debacles. Like, I don't even know what to call it, but a debacle.
It was categorically fucking awful.
It was. I'm sitting there watching it and just going, what is happening here? Why are you not calling a timeout? Why are you not calling a timeout? It's like the episode of How I Met Your Mother where he goes, tell people what? Tell people what? Tell people what?
Mm-hmm.
And Barney just keeps saying it like repeatedly. I'm saying, why are you not calling a timeout? Call a timeout. Call a timeout. Call a timeout. And you're just seeing, it's almost like you watching it in slow motion.
Yeah.
And like, surely they have to call a timeout here.
Like, what is happening?
And then you obviously after the game, and people are still kind of dumbfounded by what they just saw. And you see, well, Caleb could have called a timeout. Well, how do we know Eberfuck wasn't telling him to not call a timeout?
What do you mean he could have? Okay, usually the timeout comes from the sideline.
Right, exactly.
They tell them when to call a timeout.
Yes.
If he was trying to run a play, it was because he was getting a play set into his headset.
Right. And this is what I'm saying. The people were kind of bashing Caleb Williams as to, well, why didn't he just call a timeout? I'm like, what if he was being told not to call a timeout?
Okay, first of all, I know we dog him, right?
Yes.
But he's a rookie.
Yeah.
You think he's just gonna in that moment not listen to his coach and go, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna call a timeout? Does that bode well for a rookie, like to just not listen to their coach? No, and a rookie typically is not set up to be in the position to make the calls like that.
Right.
That comes from the sideline. That was one of the most egregious fucking things I've ever seen on a football field. Of just, it was blatantly. I don't even know what to say.
Because
Right
you're
now.
still dumbfounded.
I am dumbfounded. Like it was negligence
Like-
almost. Like honestly, besides being fired, which that day I said he should. Like,
Oh,
dude, he should.
I got to think about that, which is, yes.
Like he should not have been allowed to get on the fucking plane back.
Agreed.
You should
Yeah.
have allowed him. You should have made him buy his own ticket to get back home, and had his bags packed on the front lawn.
Agreed.
Of the facility. But when it comes down to it, he backed it up afterwards,
And he doubled down.
Yeah, he doubled down on it and
Right.
said it was what they did should have been
he
fine.
liked what they did. That's what he said.
Well, apparently you like being unemployed.
Right. So, getting back to the Caleb Williams part of this, regardless of if he should have done it or not, is kind of irrelevant because the head coach, you're the head coach, you can do whatever you want. Call the timeout, dude. Call the timeout. And you absolve your quarterback of it regardless, you know?
Yep.
And so after the game, and everybody's like, all right, dude, he's got to be fired after this. And then it didn't happen. And I kept telling people, I'm like, especially my cousin's wife, they're Bears season ticket holders, and I were talking about it. I'm like, honestly, after the game when they didn't fire him that following day, I'm like, they're not going to fire him. I'm like, this is the Bears. When did they ever make the right decision, right? And then he doubled down on it, and I'm like, they have to fire him now. You have to fire him. You have no other choice. But I want to give props to Matt Eberfuck. You managed to get an organization that hasn't done this sort of thing in over 100 years. They've never done it as an organization. They've never fired a coach in the middle of a season. So congrats, Matt. You made this organization that's been around over 100 years do something they've never done before. Good job. Props.
At a certain point, honestly, at this point, it was so negligent that I think the Chicago Bears might be able to sue him. That's how negligent that was.
It really was, man.
You're in a game that, by all accounts, you have no business being in.
No.
You have no business being in that game down 3 points to the Lions. You don't.
No.
I'm sorry. You don't.
You don't.
But you are, because the Lions let you come back in the second half because they shit the bed a little bit.
Yep.
You're in a game you have no business being in. It's the fourth quarter. You got 30-some seconds left. You have a timeout. You can call a timeout. Get a. If you make one more play that gets you in further, you try to kick a field goal. You at least attempt to tie the game up and send it into overtime.
Right.
But instead, you did what you did.
Yeah.
Which I can't even define what
Would you
did.
even see something like that in like Pop Warner football?
No.
Like
I
that's-
have never seen. We've seen some bad coaching.
Dennis. Ryan Day, new Bears head coach. No way. Give that dude a lifetime contract at Ohio State.
Please. But what we witnessed happen on Thanksgiving Day, we've seen a lot of head coaching errors. We've seen a lot of play calling errors. We've seen a lot of basically in-game management errors from coaches, right? It's a thing where you say, all right, this coach is better at in-game management than he is like during the week, or this coach is way better during the week than he is at in-game management, right?
Right, yeah.
That was the worst thing. I've been watching football for a long fucking time. That was the worst like minute of play to end a game
It was just-
I've ever seen.
It was bad. And again,
I'm not letting Caleb off the hook. He's to blame a little bit here too. He needs
right.
to get his team hurried up. Like
Right.
they were taken for fucking ever. So he's not out of blame here either. Like you need to own what's on the field. The coach isn't calling a timeout for you, and he's telling you to call a play, but you need to get them hurried up, and you need to get that play off.
Yeah.
Like you can't take fucking 35 seconds to get a play off. What are you doing? But combined, it's the worst last minute of football I think I've ever seen as far as decision making goes.
Yep. And
Awful.
like I said, to your point, we've seen a lot of horrendously bad coaching
Like
decisions.
a lot.
Like a lot, especially in this city. I mean, the Bears literally went SOL.
Oh yeah.
They went 100% full SOL.
That you're right. That is a way that the Lions would have lost the game.
100%. And I was talking to Lady Friend's brother like after the game about it, and that's what I said to him. I go, dude, they just went straight up SOL, and he goes, you're right. That's exactly what the Lions would have done.
Yep.
That's the exact way that the Lions would have lost a game like that.
Yep.
So, but yeah, it was just egregiously bad. And I just love the fact that he fucking doubled down on it. I was like, really, dude? You're gonna double down on this? All you had to say was, you know what? We probably could have handled that a little bit better. We could have handled it a different way. Okay, fine. You were probably still gonna get fired.
But at least own you fucked up.
Yeah. Don't double down and say, I like what we did there. Oh.
Defer the kick in OT. Yeah, that's a Lions
Taking the
move.
wind.
Yeah, we're gonna go with the wind.
Jesus. Like so many dumb things that have happened in and around the city when it comes to coaching decisions. But moving on from that game, I want to get into the Michigan-Ohio State game.
That Dennis brought up Ryan Day.
It was that Dennis.
So
that Dennis brought up Ryan Day. Which
we might as
thank
well
you-
get into
thank
it.
you, Dennis. Out of these past 4 years that Michigan has beaten Ohio State, I think this might be the sweetest one.
Okay, so here's another one. I keep saying had no business, right? Chicago had no business being in that game. Ohio State had no business losing this game to Michigan.
No, and that's why I think it's the sweetest
None.
one. And I said to Lady Friend's brother, who is a diehard Buckeye fan, I said this, I go, this might be the worst loss in the history of this rivalry. Period.
I mean, it's
If you take everything into account,
I'd have to look back at the other losses that both teams, but this is up there because again, as a Michigan fan, I'll tell you, this team had no business
Zero.
beating that Ohio State team.
zero.
None.
Like, if you take everything into account, the fact that Michigan didn't have a competent, you could have put a jugs gun out there and it would have been a better passing option than Michigan's quarterback, right? They're 20. They were 23.5 point dogs going.
Yeah.
And
No,
you're
well, yeah, going into it. So they started out at 21 points, and
Yeah.
then I think it ended up at 23.
I think it ended up with, yes, exactly. And then not only that, you're playing in the shoe. You know, you're on the road. You literally have zero business being, let alone winning this game, being in this game. And
Yep.
Ryan Day goes Ryan Day, and he plays fucking scared.
Oh, look at the closing odds. The closing odds were minus 20.5, so it had gone down a little bit.
Still, regardless, 20 and a
Right.
half, 23 and a half, whatever.
But still,
They were a huge, significant favorite.
You're basically 3 touchdown favorites.
Yes. And you
lost.
And you lost. And
it's-
honestly, you didn't even look like you belonged in that game.
no.
Like, Michigan's defense owned Ohio State, which credit to them. They came to play.
I love how it says here the Michigan top for performers. Alex Orji.
Yeah.
He had no stats as a quarterback though. But
No,
he's the top performer at quarterback.
Right.
He had no stats.
Right.
None.
I think he had like one run, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Like, that was it.
But he had no stats, and he was the top performer at quarterback for Michigan.
Now, Ohio State, they still have a shot to get to win a national championship because they're in the playoff.
Yeah.
Which, okay, fine. But I feel like if that does end up happening somehow, that's going to be like, yeah, but, you know. But they lost to one of the worst Michigan teams ever. You know.
I don't know. So I'll if this
Maybe not one of the worst teams ever, but
well, if this was flipped the other way, and Michigan had lost, and then got in the playoffs, and say they won the playoffs and won the Natty,
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't fucking care at that point.
I would see. That's the thing. I don't care if Ohio State goes on to win the Natty. Good for them. Like, I'm not gonna say, oh yeah, but you lost. To
No,
Michigan.
but that's what I'm saying. Like, if it was
Yeah.
Michigan, if people were gonna be like, yeah, but you lost to Ohio State, I'd be like, I don't give a fuck.
Like,
Who
yeah, but
fucking cares?
we won the whole damn thing.
Yeah,
So who cares?
Got the Natty.
Yeah,
So
big
I mean, if they go on and win the Natty, I mean, in my opinion, yeah. I mean, some people might say it, but
I'm sorry.
it's
Winning a Natty is bigger than the rivalry. It is. Sorry.
way bigger.
It is. It's bigger.
Wait, it's Natty
Rival.
rival Big Ten championship.
Yes. And some people don't want to see it that way, but I'm sorry, you're wrong. That's all there is to it. You're wrong. Now, for the nonsense that happened after the game,
I'll let you go with this one. I really didn't see it. I saw it afterwards.
Yeah.
I really only saw a few snippets.
yeah. So this planting the flag stuff, I personally have zero problem with it. I don't care who does it, where it's done. Don't care. You won the game. Do what you want.
So before you go on,
Yeah.
let me give my opinion on the planting of the flag.
Yeah.
And it's a really quick one. It's like the spear in WWE. It's overplayed. It's overdone.
I think it is. It's to the point now where it's overdone. But again, maybe it's overdone, fine. But I still don't have a problem with people doing it. It's like, okay,
I don't necessarily have a problem with it. Like I said, I just think it's
That's fair.
It's done too much.
I
You know what I mean? Like,
can't disagree with that. It is probably done over, like a wee bit overdone, fine. But again, if you want to do it, do it. Like, whatever. But and then of course people are like, oh, look, it's Michigan again, you know, starting blah blah blah. I'm like, well, you guys didn't seem to have a problem with this when Texas and Oregon did it at the Big House after they beat Michigan. That didn't seem to be a problem. But why is it a problem now? Weird how that works. Weird how that.
well, wasn't there more fights than just this one over a planting of flag this weekend?
Yeah, there was. I forgot what game it was, but yes.
I thought there was like 2 or 3.
But here's the funny thing about it. It's like, okay, so Michigan beat you and then planted their flag in the middle of your field. You guys had 60 minutes to do something about it, and you did nothing. You showed more fight at the end of the game, when the game was over, than you showed during the game.
Ryan Day still showed no fight at the end of the game.
And Ryan Day just stood there like he was like frozen. It was weird.
He was like 35 yards away from the entire thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He didn't once. This is the only thing I saw of it, really. The major part. He didn't even attempt
No.
to walk towards it to defuse the situation with his
No.
own players. He just stood there. And then but it wasn't even over yet. He turned around and started walking towards the locker room.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
you're the head coach. What are you doing?
Well, and more to Ryan Day, and this is why, frankly, he shouldn't have a problem with it at all. Frankly, his players shouldn't have a problem with it because these are his words, right, on this rivalry. This game is a war. First of all, it's not. It's just a rivalry. It's a football game, guy. And he's like, anytime there's a war, there's consequences and casualties. Then there's the plunder and the rewards that come with it. That's what it is. Well, Michigan came to your house, beat you. Basically, to the victor go the spoils.
The plunder and the reward is they
planted the flag in the middle of your field. Again, if you didn't want it to happen, you had 60 minutes to do something about it, and you didn't.
Yeah.
They came in there and they bitch slapped you, and you guys did nothing about it. That's what you get. That's what you get. The term "fuck around and find out." You fucked around, you found out, you lost. So there you go. That's my thoughts on it.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, man, this was more Ohio State shitting the bed than it was Michigan winning the game.
Agreed.
I mean that's what makes it even better for me.
And
is,
this is why I look at Ryan Day. He coaches. You can see it now. Michigan is so deep in his head right now.
oh yeah,
Like he coaches scared against them. It's crazy to me. It's like you look at what Uncle Herb did. You look at what Jim Tressel did. That was their mission to beat Michigan. Like that was their whole thing. Beat Michigan.
I forgot who it was that was saying it to me, but it was brought up. Oh, it was Frank. So he said, well, look at Ryan Day's overall record. Do you really fire him? And I go, yeah. You need to beat your rival. That if you have a bad record and you beat your rival every year, you have a better shot at keeping your job than having a good record and losing to your rival every year.
Right. So
period.
if they go on to win the Natty this year, they're not going to fire him, obviously.
Well, no, if they go on to win the Natty, no.
But if they don't win the Natty, do they fire him?
In my opinion, if it was me, yeah.
Oh, so you would fire him.
I would, yeah.
But do you think they're going to?
No.
I don't think they are either.
No. And I'll be honest with you, as a Michigan fan, listen, like you said, lifetime contract. Please, I'll put out a fundraiser for it. You know what I mean? Like, we'll.
And my favorite though is like, especially with the Buckeye fan base and especially the Michigan State fan base, who are fucking idiots, is what excuse do you have now? You got nothing. So we were watching the game because we were watching it simultaneously with the Arsenal game. We were down at McShane's watching it. There was a table behind us, and it was mostly Michigan fans, and there was one guy dressed up in Michigan State gear. And like anytime Ohio State did anything of relevance, like first down, completion,
anything,
I
hate
he
those
was
people.
that fucking guy, and he's like that asshole clap, like just to be a fucking troll. And I turned around and looked at him. I go, "You're a fucking embarrassment." And he goes, "What?" I go, "You heard what I said." I go, "You're a fucking embarrassment." I was just irritated by it because it's like, why? So because your program is so fucking bad, you have to leech on to somebody else's that plays your quote rival school. Really, you're that guy? Come on, dude. Don't be that guy.
I was saying, the first time I heard anything from a Michigan State fan this year was after that win, and they came out to call Michigan classless because they planted the flag. And,
Right. Of course.
Meanwhile, you have a 5-7 record. Shut the fuck up. Nobody should hear from you right now. Shut the fuck up.
Nope.
I haven't heard any Michigan fans talking shit about Michigan State because they don't matter right now. Why would Michigan be talking shit about them?
No.
And not like Michigan matters either. They went 7-5.
7-5.
It was a bad fucking year.
And see, when Michigan State was doing well for that hot minute, and Michigan was terrible, Michigan State fans said the same thing. Michigan, hey, you have a losing record. Shut the fuck up. Okay.
I agree.
I don't disagree. Yeah, same here. Like we have no,
I agree.
we have no right to talk.
That's why I didn't say anything when they were winning those games. And
we
Michigan
don't
was
have.
losing.
Didn't have any right to talk.
I mean, I made bets and I lost bets and I paid up on them during that time. But I still made the bets because I backed Michigan and they lost the state. I paid up on my bets.
There you go.
But when it came to talking shit, it was
No reason to.
unless they won the game
Yeah.
against Michigan State. There was nothing to say.
Yeah.
Michigan State was better.
They were.
Michigan didn't matter at all.
Right.
And in this case, neither one of them matter. But to State fan, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, you shouldn't be saying anything.
You're not even allowed at the adult table right now. You're back at the kiddie table. Shut the fuck up.
You're shopping at Baby Gap, guys.
Yeah, like
Stop.
go back to the kiddie table until you get good again.
Yes.
And actually, Michigan's not far behind you and joining you at the kiddie table.
Right.
But with that said, you don't need to. What are you worried about Michigan for right now? Worry about your own program. You didn't say shit all year until they planted the flag, and then you're like, oh, it's classless.
Of course, because that's
Shut the fuck up.
well, you know who isn't classless?
Jason Stiltner for Flagstar Bank.
That's right. If you're a homeowner or looking to be a first-time home buyer, give Jason Stiltner, Senior Loan Officer at Flagstar Bank, a call today at 248-752-3631. Jason has great mortgage programs for first-time home buyers, including down payment assistance options and excellent interest rates. Again, give my guy Jason Stiltner from Flagstar Bank a call today at 248-752-3631 and get the excellent service you deserve. Flagstar Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC, NMLS number 27546.
Let's go Buffalo! Let's go Buffalo! Let's go Buffalo!
I'm glad you played that because they have clinched the AFC East,
Yes.
which I'm obviously happy about because we talked about it in the offseason about when they took a machete to their roster and how this year was gonna pan out. We thought it might be a step back this year. I thought they might be like a wild card team, whatever.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be. I thought they were going to have rougher times than what they've had. I'll be honest with
Yeah.
you.
Now, does it
Not
help they're
that-
playing in a terrible division? Yes.
I mean, not that I didn't think they were going to make the playoffs, but I did think it was going to be a rough year.
Yeah. But they've done significantly better than we kind of all thought they were going to. And
Yeah.
they won the division. So congrats to them. I believe they are the first team to clinch the division.
I think
this
so.
season.
They did it while housing San Francisco
Yeah.
in Buffalo during a snowstorm.
Yeah.
And I'll just say it right now. San Francisco's done.
I think they're toast. Yes, absolutely.
They're done.
So
They've lost too many pieces. Trent Williams, God, I feel bad for that guy. I don't know if you heard about what happened to him. Him and his wife lost another baby.
Yeah, I saw that.
He was out with an injury.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that guy will ever come back. That's rough. But then you got the other injuries that they've had. I mean, it just keeps piling up for them. I don't know. Seriously, they must have done something wrong. Maybe that whole team needs to go to church. I don't know. But the Lord has it out for them in some way, shape, or form because they just are suffering injury after setback
it's
after
been bad.
setback. It's been bad.
It's been really bad. Now, with that being said, because obviously we think they're done, so they're obviously not going to make the playoffs.
Oh, they done.
Do you think it's time to move on from Kyle Shanahan?
Man. I think for me, I would give him next year and see how he bounces back in a year. Start off the year with no injuries. Bad year this year, chalk it up to that. He's had a decent track record for building good teams. They make it to the playoffs, they make it to the championship games, they make it to the Super Bowl. I would let him see what he can do next year.
Yeah.
And then depending on what happens next year, I would cut bait if he doesn't live up to expectations.
And
Which expectations for me next year for the Niners would be NFC Championship game or bust. Like you have to make it there.
Right.
I mean,
And I think they're going to end up doing it without with a new quarterback.
you don't think it'll be pretty?
No, I don't. I don't think they're going to pay him that money. I don't.
Really?
I don't. Especially because they have so many other issues with their cap, just with other players they've paid.
Well,
I don't think they're going to give him the bag.
they're no longer going to have Trent Williams because I don't think he's coming back. In my opinion,
Yeah.
in the draft, wherever they draft, it'll be early enough. They'll draft an offensive tackle to replace him.
Right.
If the injuries they have, if everybody comes back, everybody's signed that's injured.
Right.
So if everybody comes back, basically the team stays the same.
But if they can get
I
a
don't know how
decent
they're.
quarterback cheaper,
Yeah, I don't know how you're going to do that though. Who are you going to get for cheaper? Who's of the caliber of that level of a quarterback?
well,
And I'm not saying Purdy's elite, but
he's not. But I think
But
if
he's
you,
top 12.
But I think if you can get like an average to decent quarterback in that system, I think you'll be fine. I think you can find that significantly cheaper than what you're going to have to pay Brock Purdy.
Well, I don't know. You see what other quarterbacks have gotten in the league. Even the bad ones are getting big money.
Right, but I still think it's going to be less than what you'd have to pay Brock Purdy. Because I think he's looking to score. I think because this is going to be like his only deal. Like if you think about it.
Well, I mean, he played well enough to get a good deal too. I mean,
He
the
did.
guy was the last pick in the draft.
Because I mean, if he's smart and his agent are smart, like you look at it and you compare him to other quarterbacks and be like, well, I've done more than this fucking guy has. I've done more than this fucking guy has. Why am I not being paid like that?
Yeah.
So I think they're gonna end up with a new quarterback next year. I really do. And so I'm kind of with you as to maybe give Kyle Shanahan one more year. I wouldn't be shocked to see him gone.
I was gonna say so. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked to see him gone. I'm just giving you what I would do. I wouldn't be shocked to see him gone. But I think he's had enough success for me. If it was my franchise, I would let him run it back next year.
Yeah.
If he disappoints, if the team disappoints, then you make your decision. But all right, you've had enough success. Run it back next year. Let's see. The only thing I differ on with you is you think they're going to be doing it with a new quarterback. I think they're going to run it back next year with Purdy. I think he'll end up being me personally. I just look at it and I'd have to dive into it deeper, but I don't see the options. That would almost be the Niners starting over. You know what I mean? Like, depending on who's out there for a free agent, you can't draft a rookie. You can't do that and put him in that system. And like, if you're trying to win now, which that team is built to win now because they've got all their money tied up.
Yeah. Hey, I think Trey Lance might be available.
Boy, you and I were wrong on that
Yeah,
one.
we
huh?
were. Big
You, me, and Shanahan were wrong on that one. Dennis says, I guess it depends on what coaches are out there to replace.
Hey, I hear that Belichick guy's still out there.
I do hear Belichick is out there. Yeah. I hear Matt Eberflus is out there too.
The Lions offensive coordinator, Ben Johnson. He'd be out there. There'd be plenty of candidates that would fill that spot. You know, because if you go there, the team is pretty much ready made. Whether they have Brock Purdy at quarterback or if they go out and get somebody.
That's why I don't see them starting over. I think they run it back one more year because this team is built. You're going to have to implode this team at some point.
Oh, yeah.
You've spent so much money.
Oh yeah.
You're going to have to, and if you don't implode it, you're going to have to do what Buffalo did.
That's why I love when they did it. That's why I was not mad about it.
Which is retooling.
Yes.
Which is you need to cut off a bunch of dead weight, a bunch of cap hits.
Yes.
You got to get rid of all that and kind of start over. Not completely.
No.
But San Francisco's close to having to do that.
Right.
And I think they got one more year in them before they have to do that. I think next year is that kind of last go round for them,
Right.
and then they have to start making some really tough decisions.
Because I remember when Buffalo did that to the roster, when they just completely shredded it, and obviously over social people are flipping out, going, "Oh my God, I can't believe that!" I'm like, guys, this was the right thing to do.
Well, we said it when it happened.
Yes.
It was the right thing to do. We just didn't think they were going to be as good as they are this year.
No,
we thought they were going
didn't
to take a hit.
but it was the right thing to do because
Well, it was like when the Wings didn't do it for years, and they just kept making the playoffs.
Yeah.
Great, congratulations! You made the playoffs fucking 25 years in a row.
Right, but now
and
you set
you
your
did
franchise back
nothing
fucking-
when you got there, and you
Exactly.
set your franchise back in the rebuild.
Yes.
So
I think, honestly, if I almost want to say the Niners should do it after this season. I don't think they're going to, but
I think you're right. I don't think they're going to. I think one more year, and I think they're going to have to.
yeah, because that money is just I get the caps going up and everything, and the NFL salary cap
but-
is kind of fraudulent, but
Yeah, but
there's only so much kicking the can down the road that you can do.
there's only so many players you could pay big
Right,
money
exactly,
to.
yes.
You've got Warner, you've got CMC, you've got Debo, you've got Ayuk, you've got, and if Trent Williams comes back, I don't think he will, but Trent Williams, like they've got a lot of high paid players on that team.
Dennis, pay that man his money.
Pay that man his money.
We have that drop, don't we?
We do.
Nice.
Pay that man his money.
There you go.
Dennis says Lions just need to make Ben the highest paid OC ever. If I gave a shit about the Lions, I would agree with you. But I don't. So they can do whatever they want to do, and I don't feel like they're going to be able to pay him enough to not take a head coaching job.
Well, I mean, they're obviously not going to pay him more than Dan Campbell.
No.
They're not going to pay him more than your head coach.
No.
So I don't see that happening. But
The only way I see him staying is if he really – so it would have to be self-reflection, right?
yeah,
You have in the world, in life, you need to know your own shortcomings, right? You need to know where you're good and where you're not, right?
yep,
If he knows he's a really good offensive coordinator, but he doesn't have what it takes to be a head coach,
Then
maybe he does just keep doing it.
right. It's kind of like Steve Spagnuolo. You know, he did the head coaching thing for a minute, and they realized, yeah, probably not my thing.
Right.
And now he's arguably the best defensive coordinator ever.
But you've seen plenty of offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators, who do, in their mind, they think they can do it.
Yeah,
They get the head coaching job,
they can't. Do
and
it.
then you never hear from them again.
No.
Offensive coordinator-wise, nothing. They're gone.
Yeah.
They're just gone.
Nope.
They disappear after that. So that's the way I see him staying, is if he self-reflects and knows that, like, I can't cut it as being a head coach. I'm very good at this. I'm going to keep doing this. you can become the highest paid offensive coordinator either on the Lions or some other team will poach you.
I don't know. Well, I mean, we'll see. It's definitely going to be an interesting offseason in that regard, especially, honestly, with both the coordinators
Yeah.
for the Lions. I mean,
Yeah, because Glenn has done a good job with that defense,
he
too.
has. So, I mean, obviously, we'll see. But you know who else does a good job?
The Joe Wright Group.
That's right. Whether you're buying or selling your home, now is the time to take advantage of having the expertise of 3 real estate agents for the price of 1 on your side. Make the right move with the right group, the Joe Wright Group. Give Craig Joe Wright, Mike Bush, and Shane Wilson a call today at 248-535-4750 to fulfill all of your real estate needs. There you go. Yeah, dog.
Yeah, dog.
So obviously we're speaking about Lions coaches, so let's get into that game from the Thursday night game, the Lions and Packers game. Obviously, Thursday night games tend to be on the bad side, but I feel we've had a few good ones here lately, which is cool. I'm happy about that.
Yeah.
I actually stayed up and watched the whole game last night, which I rarely do, but I did because I was at my buddy's house watching it. And he's a diehard Lions fan, so we just had some fun with it, you know. I thought it was a fun game to watch. Not having a dog in the fight made it even more enjoyable. Because
Yeah.
it was like, I don't care who wins this game. I just want to see a good game, and we saw a good game.
I was the same way. The only way it would have been better for me is if Amon-Ra would have caught one more pass for 13 more yards.
Exactly.
But other than that, bitch, it was a good game. I mean, it was a fun game to watch. Like you said, I don't have a dog in the fight either because
So,
I don't care about either one of those fucking teams. So
I mean, the elephant in the room with this game is the 4th down call in the 4th quarter. Going for it.
but that's him.
No, I get it. That's him.
And it worked out.
It did. Like, I was talking to...
It had a chance not to.
Yeah, exactly. I was talking to the guys I work with about it, and he's like, hey, man, I can't believe he did that. I'm like, I understand why he fucking did it. Because basically, if you get that first down, the game is over. You ended it. It's done. But if it backfires, you kind of fucked. Because, yeah, you give the Packers 40 seconds. I'm fairly certain, being as the Lions couldn't stop a nosebleed last night, that they were going to get in field goal range, and the Packers were going to go down and win the game. So credit to him for having the stones to do it. But you're right, that's what he does. But it just makes it all the more irritating if you're a Lions fan of why he didn't do it in the NFC Championship game last year. You know?
I thought about that while I was watching it.
Me and my buddy, when we were watching it last night, I literally looked at him and I go, imagine if he did that in the NFC Championship game last year.
Yep.
And he's like, he started laughing. I was like, because if he did that and they score a touchdown, that game is over.
Oh, yeah, it's done.
So
It's donezo.
again, credit to him, but I have a feeling at some point he's going to do that in a big game, and it's going to fucking completely backfire on him.
Listen, I'm here. I'll pop popcorn.
Now, what I found funny is after, like, obviously during this game and watching this game and afterwards, going on the social media and shit like that, and then seeing Packers fans just whining like little babies about the officiating. I'm like, you're like Lions fans. Like, that's exactly what Lions fans did.
Until they started winning.
Until they started winning.
And even after they started winning, they still complain about the refs.
To your point. So then you see Lions fans fire back. Oh, cry about it, you little bitches. I'm like, that was you. That literally was you. Like a year and a half ago.
Pot, meet kettle.
Like,
Let's introduce you.
And we've talked about this for a few episodes anyway, about like how Lions fans are just like puffing their chest out now because they've been good for 5 minutes.
Oh, it is. It's otherworldly
It's
now,
like,
bro.
come on,
it's
man.
otherworldly now.
Like,
You do realize after that game, they have already won the Super Bowl, right?
oh yeah, it's playing
You
the parade.
realize that,
Yeah, it's
right?
over. Yeah. But it's like, how are you going to call out other fan bases for like, you know, bitching and whining about like non-penalty calls or penalty calls when you literally did the same exact thing?
For 60 years.
Like, you assholes were convinced that the NFL had a vendetta against you.
They still are.
I'm like, and I was
They're just convinced they're winning now, despite the NFL
right.
hating
It's
them.
Detroit versus everybody. That's right. I forgot. Detroit versus everybody. Right. But I'm reading this shit last night. I'm just laughing. I'm like, you hypocritical assholes.
So I dropped Ray off at school today, and one of the dads was like, how about that Lions game last night? I was like, I mean, it was a fun game to watch. I don't give a shit about the Lions, but, you know, I'm happy for all you fans who like them. You know, congratulations.
Yep.
He goes, what? I go, yeah, I gave up on them years ago. He goes, and you're not jumping back on? I was like, hell no. He goes, when they win it all, don't jump back on. I go,
don't worry about it.
I won't. Don't worry about it. Not going to happen.
Nope.
Don't jump back
You
on.
don't have to worry about that because that
you
shit
don't.
ain't happening.
Not one bit.
Nope. Like I said, we've talked about this numerous times. Like, I'll be happy for friends of mine that are Lions fans. Fine. Like the ones that aren't complete assholes. Like, all right, fine. Enjoy it.
There's very few of those.
I'll say, hey, enjoy. Have
Yes,
fun. Have fun
I
with
agree.
it. But again, am I gonna jump back on the bandwagon? Fuck no.
No.
Like Dennis, who's listening to us right now, you guys know when I'm done with the team, I'm fucking done. Like
See, you know what's funny? I said the same thing this last week. I was like, when I'm done,
done.
I'm done.
Done.
There's no coming back.
Nope.
There's no I'm done, but maybe.
Nope,
No.
done.
I'm out. I'm out.
I'm out. Like that happened with the Red Wings. It happened with the Lions. Fucking done. Like people that jump back and forth. It's like, so are you like an actual fan, or you're a casual? Well, yeah, you're a casual. That's fine, and so be it.
Well, and I'll absolutely admit, my fandom of the Browns,
Yeah.
it's more casual than anything. I'm not like fucking dying with every single play that happens, like that game the other night. I actually enjoyed that game, the Monday night game.
Yeah.
The Browns didn't win, and Jameis Winston threw fucking 3 picks.
That was the full Jameis Winston experience.
Oh, it was fucking awesome. But when it comes down to it, was I the least little bit upset that Cleveland didn't win? First of all, no, because they're not going anywhere this year. Second of all, I'm more of a casual fan.
Better draft pick.
Do I like when they win? Am I happy? Yeah. Okay,
Absolutely.
it's great. If they'd have won, I might have been a little bit happier. I won 2 nice parlays that night, so I came out on the plus side of money. That's number one for me. I'll be honest. I root for money.
Straight cash,
So
homie.
I root for my fantasy teams and my bets. And if those come in, I don't care what the other teams do. I don't give a shit. But no, I'll admit my fandom is casual at this point. I'm a casual fan of the Patriots still. It became casual after they lost Belichick and Brady, and so I've gone to more casual watching that team. And I'm a casual fan of the Browns. I can't tell you I'm a diehard team of any fucking NFL franchise. Haven't been since I was a kid in the Lions.
That's fair. That is fair.
I would say the closest thing I got to diehard was when Brady went to the Patriots, and then I backed him because he went to Michigan. That was my
Like pretty much every other
that was
Patriots
my-
fans that
that was my-
don't live in Massachusetts.
right. That was my fandom there.
Yeah.
That was the most intense my fandom has been for an NFL franchise, probably my entire life. Because the Lions sucked when I was a kid. They've sucked my entire adult life, other than this year and half of last year. So
Right. But no,
yeah.
I get it. Is there anything else you want to hit on?
From last week? No, I don't think so.
No.
No, I mean, I think that's too far in the past. If you want to hit on some of the games coming up this week, we can.
Yeah, we can do that. Let me take a look at the schedule.
Well, we've got a revenge game with Kirk Cousins going back to Minnesota.
That dude looks washed.
And Minnesota's a 6-point favorite in that game. I will tell you, he looked really, really bad
Yes, he did.
in his last game.
So
it was bad against the Chargers.
So we got a revenge game, but we've got a lot of just absolute shit bomb games too. Like Jacksonville, Tennessee. No. Tickets are going for like as low as $7 to that game.
We got Cleveland, Pittsburgh again.
That's always that's a rivalry. That's fun.
2 weeks ago, Cleveland won the game they shouldn't have.
Yeah.
That was a fun game to watch, and I think Cleveland-Pittsburgh is always a good game.
It's a rivalry. It's fun.
It's a fun game to watch.
Like
I
Jets-
have no expectations that they're going to win that game, though. I believe Pittsburgh wins that game
Like
at home.
Jets and Dolphins. Do you care?
Fantasy wise, yes, because I have a couple Dolphins. I have
But like if you didn't have fantasy,
No,
implications
I probably
or
wouldn't
even
give a
betting
shit.
implications, would you care?
probably not.
Yeah.
Probably not. I kind of like Tua as a player, and I've kind of always been rooting for him.
Yeah.
So maybe slightly like rooting for him to continue have a good game but I mean other than that, no. Again, very casual
Yeah.
fandom there.
Like fucking New Orleans Giants.
Oh, it's dog shit.
Dog shit. Absolute dog shit.
The only reason I care about the game is because I have Tyrone Tracy, the running back, and
Right.
that's it. Again, fantasy and money. That's why I care about some of these games.
There's what, we got 6 teams on a bye this week.
Yeah,
so
it's
kind of a smaller schedule this week.
Week 14, they have 6 teams on a bye.
That's got to fuck a lot of people in fantasy.
It's bad for some people.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, you mentioned Pittsburgh, Cleveland. That's always a fun game to watch because it's obviously a rivalry, so that's fun. Vegas, Tampa, don't care. Seattle, Arizona should be a good game.
I was just about to say that one. Seattle and Arizona. We got
It's Call of Duty season, and you're kind of seeing that play out with Kyler. But it's honestly it's like clockwork, man. As soon as that game comes out, man, his game goes to shit.
Well, it's been out. We had the conversation in the group text the one
Yeah.
day. It had been out for a little while, so
yeah.
he was still having good games. Maybe he doesn't like the holidays. I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe once it gets around Thanksgiving time and Christmas, he just he's like the Grinch. He doesn't fucking like to play football. I don't know.
But that should be good, especially in that division. That's a big game. So
Yeah, it's Seattle 7-5, Arizona 6-6,
Yeah.
and I mean by all accounts that could be for the division.
could be.
That could be anybody's division, honestly.
Yes. So you got that, and then
The Rams are 6-6.
I was going to say
playing
the Rams
Buffalo.
which I look at this as a trap game for Buffalo. Coming off of the big game against the Niners, clinching the division, then you got the Lions next week.
There's a reason they're only 3.5 point
know.
favorites in LA.
Yep. I look at this as a massive trap game, and LA needs this game. This is a huge game for the Rams. So, like I said, I see a big trap game here, and we'll obviously get into that in our picks with explanations, etc.
I do see a get right game for San Francisco. I don't think they need to win any more games, but I think they will win this one against the Bears
I do too.
in the 4:00 window.
I do too.
think
The Bears will find a way to fuck it up.
Well, I think San Fran's going to have a get right game. I mean, I know they've got their third string running back in there now,
Yeah.
but I believe they basically don't run the ball a whole lot. I think it's going to be Purdy to Debo. I think it's going to be Purdy to Juwan Jennings. I think Kittle. I mean, I think it's going to be they're going to do everything they can to get right in this game. So
I would agree. And then you got the Chargers in Kansas City on Sunday night. Sunday night. I think the Chargers are going to win that game. I do.
I don't know.
I don't like the way Kansas City has played for the past month.
Can we talk about what happened with Kansas City's last game, where the fucking call at the end of the game? Like what? Like they make one call,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden they're like, "Well,
No,
that's not
no,
right.
no,
nope.
no,
Hold on.
no.
Let's go back.
Wait, this doesn't help the Chiefs?
Well, let's
we
make
gotta-
it. We got to make a different call.
We got to
then.
make it help the Chiefs.
We got to make a different call then. Yeah, that was fucking ridiculous.
It was fucking ridiculous. Yeah, that's another reason.
I don't know. They keep pulling out games for some reason. This isn't even really a good Chiefs team, but they keep winning games, man. I don't understand it.
I don't get it. It's honestly impressive. It really, if you think about it, it's actually impressive. So, but I think the Chargers are going to win that game. I do. But I just want a good one.
And then they got Cincinnati, Dallas. I mean, as far as like the actual NFL season goes, no. But there's a lot of fantasy players that have people in that game. So for fantasy seasons, that's a big game on a Monday night for people to watch because of their fantasy teams and money.
And I love that.
But other than that, no.
I love that they couldn't flex out of it because they had the Simpson shit going with it. I'm like, dude, that's fantastic. But people will watch it because it's the Cowboys.
Yeah. Well, and listen, at the beginning of the year, you would have thought, all right, this is 2 playoff teams.
Right. When they made this matchup, they're like, this is going to be a hell of a game. It's going to be 2 playoff teams going at it on Monday
2
night.
playoff
Great.
teams, kind of big offenses.
And then you see it, you're like, oh, fuck. These teams are both trash.
Well, that's going to be a garbage game. I'll be honest with you. I think this is going to be a high-scoring game that there's not much defense played.
No.
And
Cooper Rush
and,
legacy game.
Yeah, and CeeDee Lamb's going to look like CeeDee Lamb again, and Cincinnati's going to just put up a ton of points. And for fantasy-wise, people are going to be on the edge of their seats all night, worrying about pulling out that victory to go into the playoffs, either with the first-round bye or where their seeding is in the playoffs.
Out of your leagues, are there any that you're out of already?
Nope.
You're in the playoffs in every one of them? Good for you, buddy.
Yep.
Nice.
Now my team in the work league is on the downswing. I'll say that. I did lose CMC, so I had CMC as my first round pick.
Yep.
First overall. I didn't have him all year, and the fact that my team has been able to do what they've done all season without that, I'm going to pat myself on the back, is just a testament to the fact that I drafted well in the rest of the rounds, and I had a team that could sustain not having CMC, my first round pick, the entire fucking year basically.
Right.
And I'm still going to make the playoffs. But this week, this game is big because I'll either have a first round bye or I'll be like a 5 or 6 seed. Like that's how far I can drop down with one loss here.
All right.
But yeah, no, everyone. The only thing is, in every one of my leagues, other than the one with Frank and Dave, this week matters to me. So I'm playing for a first round bye in all 3 of those leagues. So
good job, buddy.
But
That's
no
impressive.
matter what, I made the playoffs in them all. So yes, I'm happy about that.
I'm happy about that.
I'm happy about that. Because again, not only pride but money. I like money.
Yeah.
And I like when my fantasy teams win. I like when my bets win. That's what I back now.
Yes.
I'm all about the money.
So, this is completely off the football topic. Are you looking forward to the Four Nations face-off?
I'm sorry, what?
Exactly. Moving on. I kind of figured that was going to be your answer to it. So, we're finally getting best on best international hockey back.
Okay.
In February.
Okay.
So they just announced the rosters for each team in it. Obviously, there's 4 teams.
Well, I will be interested in it.
USA, Canada, Sweden, and Finland. And obviously, these teams have basically everybody you expect to be on them. So, just going over the rosters, they were released the other Wednesday, I believe. A lot of people are saying, like, on paper, that the U.S. should be favored. And it's probably the best team the U.S. has ever iced, period.
Really?
I'm like, okay. Goalie-wise, 1,000,000%, yes.
Who's their goalie?
They got Connor Hellebuck, Jake Ottinger from Dallas, and Jeremy Swayman from Boston.
Oh, yeah.
You look at it, their defense is pretty good. I think they're a little small, but it's still a good defense. The forward group is
Well, it's international play basically. So I mean, you don't really necessarily need an NHL-sized team.
but you do because they're playing on NHL-sized rinks. They're playing in
but
Boston and Montreal.
the game is they're not gonna play the NHL game.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
I don't-
100%
I don't
they
see
are.
it.
Because it's technically not an international event. It's an NHL event.
Okay.
So I think it's going to be basically what you see on a night in, night out basis, but with the best players in the world, which is going to be really cool. I'm looking forward to that. So it's been too long since we've had international hockey, and I'm just happy it's back when we get best on best. So we got this as kind of an appetizer for next year when the Olympics, when they finally go back to the Olympics.
And when is this happening?
February. February 12th, I believe, is when it starts.
Nice.
And then I know there's going to be a Saturday night where it's USA Canada in Montreal, which I can't wait for. Dennis, we got to get together for that one, buddy. We'll have to do like the old times to get together to watch USA Canada. So that'll be a lot of fun. But again, I'm just happy it's back. So I just wanted to get that in before we get to the picks and all that shit. So
Yeah. Before we get to the picks, let me give you my pick for the best DJ in the Metro Detroit area. And that's Bald Man Entertainment. We all know planning an event such as a wedding, birthday party, graduation party, or any other event that might require a DJ can be very hairy. Eliminate the stress and give Steve Waddell at Bald Man Entertainment a call today. 586-747-5402. You can see all of his upcoming events. Check out his link on our Facebook page. Go to sotdet.com, click on the Bald Man logo. Again, that's Bald Man Entertainment, 586-747-5402. The best decision you can make for a smooth event.
Well done.
Thank you, sir.
Well done. Well done. All right, so you want to hit picks, or is there anything else you wanted to add?
No, I don't have anything else right now.
All right.
We'll just do the picks?
Yeah, let's do the picks.
Let's do it.
This segment is brought to you by the Joe Wright Group.
It's time!
All right. So last week we had one picker that didn't pick any games. So
What a loser.
you're a loser. Frank stays at 111, 108, and 2.
Yes.
Meanwhile, myself, you, and Eric all made last week's picks.
Yes.
I won the college picks. Don't call it a comeback.
I won't. Don't worry about it.
So I went 10-3.
Oh, shit. Look at you, buddy. That's impressive.
You went 8-5,
Winning week, baby.
and Eric was 6-7.
Okay.
For the NFL picks, Eric won the week at 6-3.
Those must have been Alicia's picks for the NFL.
Had to have been.
Yep.
And then coming back, you and I both tied for second at 5-4.
Again,
So-
winning weeks.
I was going to say, I definitely am happy with my week. I wasn't happy with a couple of my NFL picks. I waffled on them, and I could have had a better week, had a better comeback, but I'm one game under 500 now, so I've made the rise back up. I'm coming back up to meet you guys. I have tied Eric at this point at 120, 121, and 2. Frank is at 111, 108, and 2. I'm going to have to start doing winning percentages now because Frank fucked us all up.
Thanks, Frank.
Asshole. Chris, you are 125, 116, and 2.
The champ is still here, bitches.
You are 5 games ahead of myself and Eric.
You damn fucking right, losers.
And let's see how that pans out after this week.
Yes, we shall, because it's conference championship week in college football. So we're gonna have some interesting matchups, teams that we generally never put in these games. So
Yeah, looking at the college
Yeah.
slate was
Yeah.
was weird, man.
I'm like, all right, conference championship week, let's go. So first up, we have Western Kentucky taking on Jacksonville State. Jacksonville State laying 4. Joe, you took Western Kentucky. The rest of us took Jacksonville State.
It's like watching a bunch of retards trying to fuck a doorknob.
Picking that game, yeah, a little bit, because I know nothing about either of those teams. So I just saw the line. I'm like, okay, sounds good.
You're like, all right.
Next up, we have Tulane laying 4, taking on Army. Joe, Frank, and myself took Tulane. Eric took Army.
This guy here is dead.
Cross him off then.
Yes. After that, we got UNLV taking on Boise State. Boise State laying 3.5. We all took Boise State.
Quebec, go ahead.
You can't let that shit happen. There you can't. go. There you go.
Notice I played your voice right after I said queer.
Thanks, I appreciate that.
I knew you weren't going to say anything, so I had to.
Next, we got Ohio taking on Miami of Ohio. Joe, you took Ohio. The rest of us took Miami of Ohio.
That's what she said.
After that, we got Iowa State taking on Arizona State. All of us took Arizona State.
You was farting in bathtubs and laughing your ass off.
Probably the biggest conference championship game of the week. We have Georgia taking on Texas. Texas laying 2.5. We all took Texas.
Never go for a retard.
That might be that might be one right there.
Yep. I agree.
Next up, we got Marshall taking on Louisiana. Louisiana's laying 4.5. Joe, you and I took Marshall. The two dum-dums took Louisiana.
Hello, motherfucker.
After that, we got Clemson taking on SMU. SMU's laying 2.5. Joe, Frank, and myself took SMU. Alicia clearly didn't make this pick because Eric took Clemson.
You got a little wiener and some tiny nuts.
I don't, but
That was for Eric.
I can neither confirm nor deny that, but it makes sense.
He was the lone picker in that one. He just happened to get that quote.
And the final conference championship game that we have on our slate, Penn State taking on Oregon. Oregon's laying 3.5. We all took Oregon, and I swear to God, I hope they win by way more than that because fuck James Franklin.
That's nasty.
I hope they absolutely dump truck fucking Penn State. I really do.
I do too.
Moving on to the NFL slate. Obviously, this game has already been played, but we had to put it in here anyways.
Yep.
Green Bay taking on Detroit. Detroit was laying 3.5. Joe, myself, and Frank took the Lions. Eric was Alicia had to have made this pick because he took Green Bay. So
If we take a fucking tight end, I quit.
next up, we got the Bills. When we put this in, it was at 4.5. I know it went down to 3.5, but do you want to give it at 3.5 or 4.5?
4.5.
All right, so the Bills laying 4.5, taking on the Rams. You three took the Bills. I took the Rams.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
Next up, we got Kirk Cousins' revenge game. The Falcons taking on the Vikings. Vikings laying 5. You took Kirk Cousins, and the rest of us took the guy who sees ghosts.
Why don't you go back to your home on Whore Island?
Next up, we got the Brownies taking on the Steelers. Pittsburgh's laying 6.5. Joe, you and Frank took the Steelers. Eric and I took the Browns.
It's the Catalina fucking wine mixer.
That's a good movie. Next up, we got the Seahawks taking on the Cardinals. Cardinals are laying 2.5. Joe, you and I took the Seahawks. Eric and Frank took the Cardinals.
I work with retards.
That I can confirm, yes. Next up, we got the Chargers taking on the Chiefs. Chiefs laying 3.5. You and Frank took the Chiefs. Eric and I took the Chargers.
It's not illegal. It's frowned upon, like masturbating on an airplane. Thanks a lot, Bin Laden.
I think that's how the refs feel about calling penalties against the Chiefs.
Yep.
Yeah. And finally, on the NFL slate, we got the Bengals laying 5.5, taking on the Cowboys. We all took the Bengals.
Fuck you, blow me.
That's to the Cowboys.
And those are this week's picks.
Those are the picks. And if you're looking for a place to go to watch any of those games we just talked about and made our picks on, Tap and Barrel Grill in Shelby Township is the place to go. It's one of the newest sports bars in Metro Detroit. This upscale sports bar features over 40 craft beers on tap, handcrafted cocktails, a delicious scratch-made food menu, and an amazing patio voted best in Macomb County by Crane's Detroit Weekly. The comfortable feel, attentive staff, and fine dining food options make it a must-visit spot for sports fans and foodies alike. Whether you're watching the big game or just looking for a great meal, Tap and Barrel Grill has you covered. They just rolled out their winter drink menu, like apple pie martinis, blackberry mule tide, or a top holiday old fashioned. Go to Tap and Barrel Grill. Visit them at 50055 Van Dyke Avenue in Shelby Township, or go to tapandbarrelgrill.com.
You held them pretty good. Good job, buddy.
Thanks. Nobody could see it, but you were being an asshole.
Yes, correct. You got anything else?
No.
All right.
I think I'm good.
Yeah, let's wrap this bitch up.
All right. Give us a like, a share, and a follow on our social media like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, and YouTube. You can find all of our podcasts on your favorite podcast provider.
Hey, give us a review while you're there, too. I want to hear what you guys think.
Yeah. Leave a review. Tell us we suck. Tell us we're great. Tell us we're mid. Lady friend, that one's at you.
That's 100%.
We're more than likely we're probably mid. But, yeah, leave us a review. Tell us what you think about us. Tell us what you think about the show. Maybe tell us some things that you want us to talk about. I'm not saying we're going to do it, but yeah.
That's always helpful, though.
Yeah. Then go to sotdet.com. While you're there, click on all of our sponsors' logos. Go to their pages. Like and follow them. Frequent them. We would appreciate it because we appreciate them so much. Again, that's sotdet.com. While you're there, click on shop. We would appreciate that because it supports us.
Yes.
On behalf of Chris, Frank, Eric, Alicia, Lady Friend, Noonan, Carl, I don't know. Anybody else?
Raylan.
There
you go.
Who else? That's it?
That's it.
On behalf of all of us.
Yes.
This is Sport. We are Sports on Tap Detroit.
Let's wrap it up, dude.
See you next Tuesday.
And that is it for us today.
No, God, please, no.
Bye. Have a great time.
No, God.
Bye, guys.
No, 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 no.
Bye, buddy.
No.
Goodbye.
No.
Goodbye.
No.
It's never goodbye.
You know, we've been through our ups and been through our downs.
You were meant to be here tonight.
You guys will always be in my heart.
Great moments are born from great opportunity.
I think the most important part is that we all stay together throughout.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
Live. Fight like hell. The best thing I've ever done, the best thing I will ever do, is be a dad.
God, I love you guys.